Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's show is a busy, packed schedule. An update from a dear friend of mine who wanted to remain anonymous, but we covered his story in Kentucky at the Bell City Swamp, about 3 weeks ago. And that, as I say, was titled The Bell City Swamp, Dogman, Kentucky. Do check that out if you haven't already listened. If you have listened, then you'll know there's been quite a lot of activity within this area, and unfortunately our subscriber and friend did lose one of his coonhounds to the Dogman. Very, very sad news to hear, but did escape with his life and his other dog's lives as well, so that's the positive in it. Tonight's story is an update from my friend, and you're not going to believe it, to be honest, guys. A lot of you I've spoken to on Facebook in the past 2 days have expressed how out of the ordinary this is, and I think you'll all know what I mean. Hopefully you'll get the idea. Without further ado, let's get into tonight's update of the Bell City Dogman. Let's get straight into that. Hi DMT, you're never going to believe this. I got a phone call around 8:30 AM the other morning. It was an old farmer that lives down the road, and he said that his Clydesdale horse that was used for pulling out logs from the woods had gone missing, and said that something had scared him to make him run through 3 strands of barbed wire and 2 strands of electric fence, and had run deep into the woods on the back of his property. He also asked if I would bring my best hunting dogs to track his horse. Being a very, very good friend, I said of course I'll be there within the hour. It was a little after 10 AM when I got there, and I had 3 of my dogs and a Winchester model 94 30-30 rifle. When I arrived there was chaos everywhere. Signs of panic and chaos in the paddock. There was no sign of what scared the horse, only the sign he had run all around the paddock, finally running through the fence. I turned the dogs loose and they instantly started tracking. I had not gone far when I found the first bit of blood on the trail. It wasn't much, but it was enough to know the horse was indeed injured, and that gave me and the farmer great worry. It was me and the old man and his son who were tracking the horse. Now the dogs were running hard, then all of a sudden just stopped in fear, smelling the ground in this one spot. It was quite obvious it was like something had been bedded down there for a while in the grass in this very spot, as it was all mushed down and mashed flat. But I need to say, there was no smell in the area or unusual signs, just the dogs spazzing out, and I was getting alarmed at them cowering down and whimpering. But after some coaxing, I got them on the trail again, and they were covering a lot of ground, and we were still finding blood. But you know, there was quite a bit more than before. We were getting worried now that the horse would run himself to death at the rate it was moving. And then we broke into a clearing. My God, it looked like a fucking crime scene. There was blood everywhere, and I don't mean drops. I mean, it was all over the clearing, but no sign of the horse at all. Which got me really, really worried. Not for the horse at this point, but for us. And then the dogs sniffed around for another 20 minutes. And when they finally picked up the trail again, it was around 1 PM, and they went about another quarter of a mile when we found the worst scene that I have ever seen in my life. We had travelled approximately 3 miles through some of the thickest woods I have ever been through, and it took us dang near the best part of a day to cover this. It has to be said, because normally covering 3 miles with dogs is not normally that long of time. Now, back to where and what we found when the dogs bayed, which then told me that they'd found what we were looking for. And we found a horror scene. There was blood slung everywhere and a mangled body. Well, at least what was left of the body. There was only 2 legs left and a half of a body, but the half was completely mutilated and mangled by whatever the hell did it. Well, I'm convinced and quite happy to say it was 2 different dogmen, as there was at least 3 paths through the grass where we found it. There was a huge puddle of blood, nadd bits of flesh slung 25 to 35 yards from the kill site. The old man freaked the fuck out. He just kept saying, "That was a goddamn 1,800-pound animal. That was a goddamn 1,800-pound animal. What the fuck could have done this? I mean, what the hell? There was a huge animal." From that moment I deemed it unsafe to stay very long, as my dogs were acting erratic and not normal. But I will say this, it wasn't a bear or a damn mountain lion. So I asked our subscriber and friend if he's spoken to the old boy in the last 24 hours, and indeed he did yesterday morning for you guys out in the USA. And the farmer is very, very angry, guys. He's extremely upset, but more angry than anything, and his exact words were, "Mark my words, if I see that thing, I'm going to put it down and kill it, as long as I'm in a safe distance." So we will keep you updated. Thank you ever so much to my witness and friend that got this over to me, constantly giving me little updates, everyone. It's fantastic, it really is, that someone can go from having an encounter and being, well, you know, terrified and having so many questions, to then taking the viewpoint of, okay, I'm going to learn more about these creatures and I'm going to get to understand them. And I got to say, I admire that. Quick note, there is now a official closed Facebook group over on Facebook titled DMT's Cabin in the Woods. I would love to invite you all and your friends to come along and join me over at the cabin. We have a lot of exclusive pictures and discussions over there, particularly the pictures regarding the Germany case with Kirsten. So let me know what you think, guys, down below in the comments. Of course, as ever, please do like and share, and remember, above all, be safe, not sorry.